Okay, here we go. Last ship, season 5, episode 8. So when last we left Southcom, it had been overrun. Taken hostage are Malin, Dufine, and Slattery. Clayton and Jeter are on the loose, but as we know, those aren't the most capable at hand-to-hand battles, and this is in a pretty tight situation. So everything is taken over. Octavio kills Michael, the medic that helped them get in there, and now he goes for what his real goal is. At first, everyone thinks he's looking for troop positions and battle plans, but who he's actually looking for is President Reese, who's locked behind a safe door. Now, when the situation happened, the president is supposed to stay in a secure location. No matter what happens, no matter what the threat, no matter who dies, the president stays behind the locked doors. This, however, does not happen because when um, Octavio threatens to kill the Joint Chief, Reese opens the door. Now, I kind of looked at this and I went, really? Really? First of all, if he was in a panic room, there would have been at least one Secret Service agent with him, and that Secret Service agent would have rendered him unconscious before allowing him to unlock the door. That's how that shit really works. Everybody else is deemed expendable, not the President of the United States. It's not about Reese as a man, it's about what Reese represents, it's what his office is. Um, anyway, Octavio decides that under Tavos's orders that Reese must plead guilty to all the half-baked conspiracy theories uh, that support Gran Colombia's attack on the United States. So Octavio at first threatens to kill Malin, and Malin, being a lifetime military man, tells Reese that he's ready to die for the oath that he took. He believes what he believes and that it's fine. Reese is able to avoid actually admitting to these crazy conspiracy theories. So Octavia's next move is to hang him, put a noose around his neck. And Reese, not being a military man, not having to had the experience of putting his life on the line time and time again, never having his metal tested, breaks, and he starts to cry, and he admits to being guilty of something he is, of course, not guilty of. Unbeknownst to them all, Tom Chandler is watching all of this. See, for Tom, he knows that what matters is how Reese responds to the pressure and the threat that he's under. And by crying and breaking and begging for his life, Reese looks weak. I actually think it's human, right? It's not it's only weak in this hypermasculine toxic world that the last ship creates. But if your life is threatened, you'll do anything, right? That's self-preservation. That's like one of our most basic drives, is to protect our life. So I don't necessarily think that it's weakness so much as it is um as it is human. So with Reese in custody and the rest of the Joint Chiefs also being held hostage, Tom is ordered to surrender. So he decides that he's going to do so, but it's only to buy time. So he gets in his little boat and he starts sailing towards Tavo's ship. Now, in Gran Colombia, Tavos has his men all gathered and he's celebrating. For him, this is an epic win. He had the President of the United States down on his knees weeping. He's taken control of South Command. Of course, the generals being able to see more of the bigger picture than Tavos, who are not as obsessed as Tavos, tells him this is a win. Grab the president, grab the info, and get out. But Tavos will not be happy until he gets his hands on Tom. So this really comes down to a case of Ahab versus Ahab. Tom, to Tom, Tavos is the great white whale, and to Tavos, Tom is the great white whale. So which hypermasculine leader of their people is going to win? Um, went out. Anyway, what ends up happening is somehow Jeter and Clayton manage to launch an offensive, which frees Malin, Dufine, and Slattery, which then puts Octavio on the run. And as pretty much as predicted, Octavio ends up using Kelsey as some sort of human shield. We always knew this chick was expendable, right? Which is pretty much what Slattery had warned Kelsey of the entire episode. You are just being used. Um, Even though we knew that it was coming, it's kind of upsetting because it was, as I said, I think in the last episode, there was a lot of brown men will corrupt your innocent white lady, and now look what happens when you trust brown men, you die. This is absolutely the message that they're standing there. And then even after everything that Kelsey has done, and Slattery is in hot pursuit of Octavio, he stops and he looks and watches Kelsey die for a few extra seconds. And I'm like, dude, really? She is not that important. And moreover, she is the enemy. She is the reason your navy got wiped out. She's the reason someone that you actually cared about, Alicia Gunderson, died. Why are you stopping to watch this chick die with a look of sympathy on your face? Only in a world that is filled with like gender dichotomy and could this actually be good? Could this actually seem like it's a realistic thing for someone of Slattery's experience to do? It makes you want to scream, the bad guy is getting away. She's really unimportant, and you know this, right? But how else to drive home the point that, the sweet, innocent white lady was corrupted by the evil brown man than watching her poetically die from her wounds from being sacrificed for her ignorance? So anyway, the chase is on, and poor Malin ends up losing his life protecting Reese, and Slattery shows up just in time to take out Octavio. Now, I don't know about you, but this really had me thinking about Cheeto. Um, and here's the reason why. Because at this point that Malin is an honorable man, a good man, and a strong man. And the fact that Reese is portrayed as being weakened because he cried and he begged for his life, right? So you're supposed to really just look at this and think Malin made the ultimate sacrifice for a POTUS that was beneath him. Really, that's what it's coming down to. On one hand, it's a little bit challenging because you have a black man sacrificing himself for a white man, which I really just do not agree with. Um, but it made me think of King Cheeto, like the terrible position these people are in if we elect somebody who is not worthy of that. Well, excuse me, not we. If Americans elect somebody who isn't worthy of that office, and then having Secret Service and military vow to die to protect it, I mean that's more than idealism. I don't know about you, but I would not be catching a bullet for Donald Trump due to be on his own. So, anyway, Tom blows up Tavos's warship, in the process risking his life. Sasha tries to tell him, look, dude, this was like ridiculous. We had it. That's why the Nathan James is there. And he's like, I had to make sure. I had to make sure I had to see it done myself. He is just as obsessed as Tavos, and this is dangerous. This is really, really dangerous. And I think this is their way of building up anticipation to the last two episodes. And for me, it just feels like let's just bring this hypermasculinity to an end because it's toxic. It really, really is toxic. Let Ahab catch his whale and let's be done.